What's up, everybody? Well, you might not have noticed this if you're not keeping up with it, but it's June and we're not flooded with rainbow flags everywhere this year. And people are always going to tell me that it's all the same. It doesn't matter who you put in office. But if the Kamala cackler had won, this is all you would be hearing about while they flooded us with millions of more noobs. But I've seen a couple people do videos on this, and none of the companies out there changed their logos like they did last year. So there was a firestorm of backlash towards Target for not celebrating where you stick your pee-pee. Or was there? An orchestrated campaign to stoke tensions over Target's rollback of diversity, unequity, and uninclusion initiatives deployed fake accounts to flood social media with manufactured outrage. Outrage is the new socio-political currency. And you got to give the anger addicts something new to be indignant about every week. It's right there in the rule book. A tactic that drags on for too long becomes a drag. Yeezy tech firm Cyabra analyzed thousands of posts on social media from January 1st to April 21st as shoppers vented over Target's pullback and activists organized grassroots boycotts. Just like the 1,500 totally grassroots and spontaneous organized planned events for this Saturday, and we'll talk about who's organizing those. But they determined that 27% of the social media accounts it sampled were fake and contributed significantly to the viral backlash. But that 27% led to an 800% increase in vitriolic posts. So I know this isn't news to any of you. What's astonishing is that USA Today actually told the truth for once. And the research group says we've seen this kind of behavior in disinformation campaigns tied to elections, brands, and social movements around the world. Okay, then why aren't you sharing that data? Because e-interference is actually a crime. And I don't think they'll ever fix X, because whatever the main topic of the day is, even if it's not bots, if it's real people, you have 50 people that just flood that subject with post after post after post. And those posts always have the top ranking spot when you click on there. You can click on their icon and see that they didn't just make the one post, they've made 50 posts about it. And that's why I hardly ever use it. I don't even have it on my phone. That's to intentionally keep me from doom scrolling on there. That's one of the reasons I left Facebook a while ago. But I have never got done with one of those sites and say, oh, well, I feel better about life now. But if there's breaking news, I'll go on there, get the information, and then I'm out. So here's a good reason to stay home. Yeah, so even if you're just minding your own business, it just takes one joker to come up next to you and do this. And if the cops rolled up right now, you're getting 10 to 15. But that being said, I wish I had a bigger channel right now and could organize a national Take Our Country Back demonstration for Saturday. Because what's going to happen is they're going to get 1,000 or 2 people in all these cities to show up, and it looks like there's a huge amount of people that support this. But just like the fake Target outrage, the majority of these people only exist online. Now, don't get me wrong, there's millions and millions of people that have been broken by the mind virus. But there's hundreds of millions of Americans that stand for America. And if you could put us side by side, then there'd be a lot of followers that realize they're following the wrong team. There's a huge number of people that support wokeism because they think everybody else actually does. I mean, that's all they see when they flip on social media, and they just want to be socially accepted. But there needs to be a lot more of this.
You white racist liberal! You white racist liberal! Fuck out of here. Stop saying brown. Black. Black ain't got shit to do with this.
Yeah, I mean, a large percentage of people that support this are white, suburban, college-educated people that don't mow their own lawns. At least as far as people who vote for this crap goes. And as far as orchestrating things here goes, you should listen to them when they accidentally tell you the truth. More than 100 pro-democracy advocacy groups are partnering to organize events across the country. So there are hundreds of groups like the Party for Socialism and Liberation that have been getting funding through USAID this whole time. And like I keep saying, America doesn't have just one enemy. We have a lot. So there's organizations, the Catholics are behind, Yeezy's running their side of things. And they've got all these organizations ready to print signs and mobilize the black flag operatives to get things as fiery but peaceful as possible.
And you're waiting for it to happen. And you can look around, you see the National Guard in front of the federal building, but as far as this intersection where we're seeing all this take place, there's no local police to be seen.
Showing a wide shot and from a different angle, a whole lot of officers on the other side of the federal building, almost behind you, and perhaps the visual is obstructed from your point of view. So perhaps they're not where you are, but there's a lot of them already positioned there. They're not getting caught off guard by a crowd gathered here.
So, I mean, that was quite a shot that we have there of these folks, and your photographer just gave us a great shot of the box that was left behind, which showed the brand of mask. I mean, it's not the kind of thing, thank you for seeing this there. It looks like a bionic shield. That's what that's called. I mean, that's not the kind of thing that you buy in bulk if you don't plan on doing something with it. And the fact that that's being handed out kind of like candy to everybody.
So this intrepid journalist finally discovers that this has to be funded by somebody. And I don't think Gelda here is paying for this out of her pocket. And this is how every one of these cliques goes. You've got the butch in charge, and then her life partner down here. She's wearing a shirt that says the walls have to go. And they've been waiting for something to pop off for 2 years. And then you got a couple little toothpick caramel macchiato addicts that get yelled at a lot. And the guy up front here is going, I told Gelda we should do this over there. She never listens to me. And they're all cruising around in a $50,000 truck and ain't never smelt a job, handing out 10 grand worth of gear off the tailgate. And then somebody finally got a clue and said, well, to all those bigots out there, this looks like a bunch of people waving a foreign flag saying we don't have to abide by local laws and customs. So in a literal false banner.
You guys have those American flags? We got rid of all of them when they started coming. We were sitting ducks here, so we...
How many did you guys be able to
Oh, wait.
play?
I think we got 5 or 6 out.
Okay.
If you ask the Subaru right there...
But they're not put together.
Oh, they're not put together. Oh, okay.
Okay, that was a good idea.
Right.
We're gonna bring them back out.
We're gonna bring them back out after.
Yeah.
Okay.
We might be back out in an hour.
Yeah.
They're marching from this. They're gonna start coming this way.
Yeah.
So I think that was a good idea after yesterday.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you guys.
Right on.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Where'd you get the American flag?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Wait, where?
They just handed it to me. These all the time.
It's like a random guy? Oh, alright, thanks. Excuse me. I was looking for these flags. Where did you get this? Okay, oh. Are they...
So now they're handing out American flags, trying to make it look like people that at least care the least little bit about this country. And the very best they can do is fly it upside down, which I know is a sign of distress, but that's not their intent here. This is also being funded in part by Walmart heiress Christy Walton, has joined a small group of billionaires speaking out against the country that made them billionaires. She took out a full-page ad in the New York Times telling everyone to mobilize on Saturday the 14th. So if I had any internet clout at all, maybe you guys can spread this everywhere. We all need to boycott Walmart on Saturday the 14th. Grab a flag, go up there and tell everybody you support Trump getting rid of all of these noobs, while this billionaire Walmart heiress you're about to give your money to is saying that the noobs have more rights than you do, and you should take to the streets to protect your right to pay for their housing, their food, their brand new clothing, and $5 grand worth of groceries every month. Walmart has destroyed small town America more than anything else, but I'm probably going to do a video on that. And then we got another turncoat here bragging about the fact that Americans are being out-babied
It's
right
all in
now.
there. Return to the family, the nuclear family, return to being a Christian nation, return to, producing a lot of children, which is sort of odd because the people who produce the most children in our country are immigrants and they want to deport them. So none of this adds up.
No, it adds up perfectly fine. The majority of Americans disagree with you and what you're about. So you're intentionally trying to subvert the will of the people. and outnumber them with a bunch of people that you give gimme dats to. I knew that because of what Kash Patel said about Jeff Epp on Rogan's show, that nobody'd talk about the other things that he said. But he said that they found direct interference in 2020 by a bunch of high-ranking officials. So, I don't know what happened with the Jeff Epp thing. They could have got to him, said, hey, we're going to go after all your family. Or none of the tapes that actually mean anything ever even got checked into evidence. And, if you've got fingerprints of people in the organization all over that operation, then they wouldn't put it into official evidence. So I don't know what's going on with all that. And that was a bummer to hear. But on this side of things, if you start getting into the Steele dossier and Fusion GPS or whatever their name is, then that does lead up the ladder to the people that put this country in this situation in the first place. So I'm still not giving up on these guys just yet. It's only been 3 or 4 months. If I could say anything to Kash Patel, I would say just stop doing interviews. You can explain your side later in life. Just go do everything you can do to make something happen here. So there's a little bit of hopium to sign off with. And we need to start rounding up every one of these sellouts, and we can put them to work assembling all the tents out in the desert as a new exportation hub, because they're the ones that actually went out on the ground and helped all of these people to come in. And all of the people that paid to bring everybody here needs to have their assets frozen, and then that pays for all of the exports. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Static out.